Hello. Oh, there we go. Audio now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Iodrarune Fables, a brand new Dungeons and Dragons podcast here on this channel. The namesake for the show is, well, I said podcast, but the namesake for the show is Iodrarune, a high fantasy Dungeons and Dragons homebrew world steeped in magic and extraplanar entities and all sorts of fascinating different ideas. Um, Tonight's game, I am joined by, and I will introduce you to my players, and they can tell me who they're playing. Let's go ahead and start with Tiff. Who are you? What are you playing?
So, hi, my name's Tiff, and I am playing Laurel. She is an Aasimar paladin. Well, she'll eventually be more than an Aasimar paladin, but we're starting off with an Aasimar paladin named Laurel.
What are your character's pronouns and your pronouns? Just for the
Uh,
record.
for the record, Laurel is she, her. I am she, her, they. I'm a little bit more flexible as it comes to that.
Fantastic. Vice. Who are you? Who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Vice. Tonight I will be playing Cricket. They are a Kenku rogue. Um, for the sake of pronouns, I use they, them, as does my character, also using they, them.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Devin. Who are you? Who are you playing?
I'm Devin Pleasure. I am playing a Water Genasi paladin by the name of Cesario Figaro. Um,
Fantastic.
Pronouns are he, him, as well as I.
Incredible.
Me.
Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in. As I said, this is Iodrarune, a world steeped in magic from all kinds. From farm fields managed by various agricultural druids to schools that can only be accessed through another dimension, and far, far beyond that. There is barely a single thing that magic has not touched in this world. And it is an integral part of basically everybody's lives in some way or another. Our story starts in the year 1453 APC. APC stands for After Planar Crash. And we begin in the island nation of Drake, specifically in the city of Dragonhead. You are, each of you, initiates for the Dragonhead Adventurers Guild, and raring to go on your first adventure after passing your respective exams to establish your skill with the guild. You find yourselves in the training grounds of the guild, a massive courtyard. The ground is a loose packed dirt. You see archery targets and melee like training dummies. There's strength training equipment and the like. There are runes that help sort of guide magic and stop it from getting out of control if it might, and various things like that. As you each enter this courtyard after passing your exams, you see each other. Cricket, why don't you describe your character for us?
Sure thing. So, as Cricket enters into the courtyard, it's just this relatively short stature bird, probably around, I would say, somewhere between 3.5 to 4 feet tall, just hopping their little way in with their robes and their scarves and a few necklaces that catch the sun in just the right way. Cricket is just kind of looking around and kind of keeping their eyes on the ground for any loose coin that might have fallen or any broken earrings, bracelets, etc.
Sure. Roll me an investigation check as you come into the space. 12. As you were walking through, you sort of move some of the loose dirt and the odd rock around with your foot. At first, it seems like nothing of particular value is here, but eventually you nudge over something that looks like a regular rock at first, but when it rolls over, the inside of it is a shiny amethyst geode.
Ooh. Cricket kind of coos at it a little bit before picking it up and putting it into a little like satchel.
Awesome. Yeah, go ahead and add that to your inventory. Um, Cesario, as you come into the space and observe the training materials and everything, one of the things that you notice is this Kenku seemingly searching through the dirt and moving the loose earth around. But she doesn't seem to have noticed you yet, or they don't seem to have noticed you yet. Describe Cesario for us, please.
Dario is a water genasi, a being of the water. He stands about 6'2". He has deep sea green hair that comes down to just past his shoulders. Um, it almost kind of like flows like water, like a small waterfall. Skin a little bit of a pale blue as well, with like a deep green eyes. He wears heavy armor, um, scale, I believe, and he wears a pendant on his neck of twin waves crashing.
Awesome. So yeah, as I said, you see a small Kenku person um sort of nudging around the loose earth. And after a minute or so, they excitedly chirp and bend down to pick up what looks like a rock. You're a little ways away. It's difficult to know what they're holding, but it looks like a rock. Do you say anything to them or make yourself known in any way?
Uh, I don't think right now he'll make himself known. He will take a seat and nearby and watch the curious bird.
Sure.
It's like trying to figure out the whole surface thing. He's still trying to figure that out.
Sure, absolutely. Um Laurel, this is where you come in. You are entering after your exam, after proving what you can do and that that you're not in need of training by the guild. Um, as you come into the space, you see a water genasi sitting off to the side and watching a Kenku person who seems to be excitedly rubbing and cleaning a rock of some kind. Firstly, explain to us what Laurel looks like, and then after that, tell me what you do.
So Laurel is a tall, very thin Asimar. She is about 5'9". She has kind of turquoise color, very short cropped hair. She wears I think she's wearing chainmail right now, but she's like wearing very formal robes over it. So trying to basically hide the armor that she's actually wearing and try to look a little bit more formal and a little bit more dressed up than one would assume. Anyone who didn't look at her closely might think she was more of a wizard or a sorcerer or something that's kind of like a clothy,
Sure.
but she definitely has some heavier metal under there. um, I have a quick question for you,
Sure.
Ava. So, uh, Laurel and Cesario had met at the festival prior to the exams. Is that something that we're going to be working with in regards to like timeline here? Would she already know
That's
him
a great
from that?
question.
Or
Let's
I was
say
actually just thinking
yes.
about that.
Let's say yes. You guys interacted at the festival, which was, we'll say it was 3 days ago. So you interacted at the festival, took part in that sort of game closing the Feywild portal, and after your treats and that experience, you kind of went your separate ways. Neither of you really knew that you were going to be meeting up at the guild again. So yes, you see this water genasi face that you had not seen before.
So, that being said, she also kind of puts on a nice little hat of many hats that just kind of shifts from one hat to another hat to another hat that she had won at the festival. Um, and as she's walking around, she notes like she's met Rio before, and so she'll just kind of like, oh, it's good to see you again. Hello, hi, hi. Do you remember me? A couple days ago, we were like at the portal and the dog, and you know that whole
The
thing.
dog.
The dog, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Oh, well, it's good to see you again. What are you doing here?
I just finished the training.
You did.
The
I just the actual training from the school.
for the guild.
Did you get in?
Yes.
Me too. I just finished that too. I just did the training sessions there. Oh, that's exciting. I wonder if we're going to be doing anything together. If we're going to do any missions or anything like that. That'd be wonderful.
I mean, maybe. Only one way to find out.
And she'll just kind of like clap and like, oh, it's exciting. I was really worried that I wouldn't know anybody, but now I do. Who's your friend here?
Cricket, you actually hear this conversation. Maybe not every single word, but you hear them talking and are aware of the other people present.
I honestly have no idea. I saw them poke at a rock, intrigued my curiosity, and I sat down and watched them poke at rocks.
At this
Yeah.
point,
Now that I
Cricket
say it
kind
out
of
loud, that feels weird.
Cricket's gonna go ahead and kind of like hop forward and just kind of tilt their head, looking at both of them, and just training for the guild.
Yes. Have you heard of the guild?
Yes.
We're in the hall, right?
Yeah, each of you went through a test, just sort of establishing where your skills were. Roll. Actually, I'll just give this to you. You guys came to the guild. You know this. The Adventurers Guild here in Dragonhead, the Dragonhead Adventurers Guild, is well established with training and sort of preparing various kinds of adventurers. Give me just a moment. Scrolling back up in notes takes a second. This guild was established shortly after the Dark Ages to help bring stability to Drake. Back then, it mostly consisted of a single adventuring party who had made a name for themselves hunting dangerous monsters. But their reputation shifted as the party began training and outfitting village militias and similar groups so that they could protect themselves. Since then, the guild has become a mainstay of the city of Dragonhead and draws talent of all kinds from all across Iodrarune. People who hope to make a name for themselves. You know that the guild sort of has ranks. The bottom rank is trainees, and they bear no special insignia and don't really have any special protections within the guild. But these are the people that come to the guild wanting to join that need training, as the name would suggest. And these are people that are too young or inexperienced to be sent out on missions, even as part of a larger group. You guys are initiates, and each of you bears a badge or patch, as your outfit might require. A badge or a patch in the shape of a dragon egg in whatever color you chose. This rank is people that went through the initial training or who had come to the guild as adults with some skill. You passed your aptitude test, and now you are each initiates in the guild and sort of awaiting further instruction, awaiting further details about what's going on.
Okay.
Heard.
So would that mean that we would see like an initiate insignia on Cricket?
Yeah, absolutely.
I,
Oh.
I
Um,
feel Cricket would brandish it, like kind of like try to like catch it in the sunlight. So
It's
Sure.
it's
like,
like
look, it's shiny.
what color is Cricket's badge?
you said that they are like colored after dragon eggs, right?
Yeah, they don't need to necessarily be like, you know, the specific blue of blue dragon or whatever. It's just whatever color you want, and it's shaped like a dragon egg.
So I think sticking with the shiny theme, that Cricket would go for either silver or gold if either of those were an option.
Okay. Silver was an option. Gold is unfortunately not, and I will get to that in a moment. So yeah, you see a silver dragon egg badge on the outside of Cricket's outfit. And as you guys are talking, Cricket kind of like wiggles and moves to try to get the light to reflect off of the badge. And you see the light sort of reflecting onto Cesario's armor as Cricket succeeds at catching the light.
Oh, you have a silver badge too. And she'll just kind of like show that she also has a silver dragon egg badge as well. And just like you can see the excitement in her eyes. But like, oh, we'll probably be doing things together. It'll be fantastic. It's going to be wonderful. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cesario's dragon egg is more of like a metallic aqua.
Sure. That probably looks really cool. I love like the teal or aqua like metal. It just looks real good. Real good. Okay, cool. So yeah, as you guys are talking over the next few minutes, sort of getting to know each other, eventually the heavy wooden doors leading to the main guild hall shove open, and you see striding towards you a dragonborn that each of you recognizes. He is he's a green dragonborn. He stands about 6 feet tall with a lean, athletic build, and leather armor, and a line like a bandolier of daggers strapped to his chest. This is Aralon Pyrite, and I'll type that name in chat in a moment. This was the mentor, which is another rank within the organization. Mentors are the ones that are responsible for training new recruits. They're responsible for training the trainees and for administering tests when people are ready to take them. They are essentially your superior, for lack of a better way to put it. But yeah, Aralon starts striding towards you. Give me just a moment here. I said green, didn't I? He's a gold dragonborn. I am so sorry. I was in the wrong headspace. Aralon Pyrite is
It's
a
a little
gold
tarnished, maybe a little
dragonborn.
mossy.
um, he's coming towards you with a piece of parchment in his hand. It looks like it was a scroll, and it's kind of dangling after he read it and after he was sort of looking at it. And he comes towards you. Each of you recognizes him because he was the one who administered your test, and he's sort of responsible for all three of you as initiates to the guild. Oh, good. You're all here. How are you feeling after your tests?
Ready to go.
Laurel will just kind of like bow 3 times, just like, oh, it's really exciting. I feel like we're ready. I feel like we can take on the world. We're ready to go do so much good.
Oh, not quite ready for the world, I'm afraid, but I do adore your excitement. What about you, little one? Gesturing to Cricket.
Cricket looks between Cesario and Laurel and does one of the bows that Laurel offered and just goes, exciting, ready to go.
I love to hear it. So, I'm afraid I actually have your first mission, as it were. What I have
Why are
here in
you
my
afraid?
hands, and he sort of pulls out the paper and holds it in a way that you guys can read if you want. What he's holding is a missive from. Actually, give me just a moment. I am trying to compete with the music for some reason. There we go.
Growing pain.
Bouncing between tabs is not something that comes automatically, I tell you what. What he's holding is a missive. At the top, you see the letterhead of the Kythosian Trade Alliance. And the letter, through a lot of legalese and flowery words, is entreating the help of the guild with a specific budget, entreating the help of the guild with determining the source of a curse on the island of Tirsol. The missive goes into sort of detail about ships getting lost, but their ledgers being blank, and it says that sometimes ships arrive, but the crew is completely gone. It details a list of very strange sort of occurrences around the island of Tirzol. And I'll throw that in the chat in a moment as well. Should you need it for your notes?
Appreciated. Question.
Yeah.
Does Cesario know about any activities within his church in or around that area?
Roll a history or roll a history or roll a religion check. Your choice, but tell me which one you roll.
Oh boy. Let me pull up the sheet right quick. History or religion?
Mhm.
We are proficient in religion. We'll go with that.
Sounds like a plan.
God, bloody.
Not good, huh?
Natural one.
That sounds
For
like it's a
3.
fantastic roll.
Okay, so natural one for a total of what? Just out of curiosity.
A total of 3.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you think on it for a second. Name doesn't ring a bell. You don't know if there you can't seem to recall if there's anything within the church's teachings about Tirzol one way or another. It just is it's a non it's something you've never heard before today.
Sounds about right.
Cricket and Laurel, if you want, you are welcome to roll we'll say history or arcana for either of you. Your choice, but tell me which one you roll.
Got it.
Both are terrible. Okay.
Not an intelligence
Let's
character, this one,
go.
yeah?
Laurel is not the brightest bulb in the box. She's never. That's we have dump
Ooh.
stats, and that is hers. So
If it makes you feel any better, Tiff, it seems to be that neither one of my Figaro boys can roll above a 5 for intelligence.
there you go. So what did you roll? You rolled Arcana. I'll roll History then.
Sure.
Yeah, that's an 8.
Okay, so Laurel, the name is similarly new to you as well. You might have heard a rumor here or there, but nothing particularly solid, nothing that you've really held on to remember for longer periods. Cricket, however, give me just a moment. I am considering how you would store this as a kenku. So you do remember some conversations about Tirzol, and a lot of them are kind of rumors. But you remember talk of a disease wiping out the island. You've heard that there are ghosts. You've heard that there are monsters, and a mysterious mist. And that's kind of the main thing that you remember is those specific sorts of phrases. Yeah, you remember a librarian in the city talking to a student who was seemingly researching it. You remember, and I'm going to use sort of the specific voice that you remember. Tirzol, right. Whole island wiped out by disease. Terrible, terrible tragedy. Say it's infested with ghosts and some sort of monsters or something. Who could say what's real? People like to tell stories. And that's sort of like the gist of what you remember and could recall if you wished.
Yeah, I think Cricket is just kind of like listening into the conversation and just people like to tell stories. Ghosts. Mists.
I love it. It's great. I've never played in a game with a Kenku before. This is so exciting. Aralon sort of gestures towards Cricket. This one's got the right idea. It was a kingdom about 150 years ago. Terrible plague completely devastated the island. They say that it is infested with the ghosts of those that died. Restless spirits that can't leave the island, but nonetheless cause problems for passing ships and the like. Nobody's been able to confirm because those that do return from Tirzol don't seem to remember the encounter. And there are many who never return.
That's good. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, so this will be fine.
Aralon sort of, be that as it may, your job is to explore Tirzol and find out what the source of this curse is. And if you can, purify the island. Deal with it. Both of you. And he gestures towards Laurel and towards Cesaria. You're both religiously inclined, right? Paladins, as it were.
Yes. The Wave Mother would
Yeah,
like to
yes.
cleanse with water. Return to the depths. if you
Just
will.
for fun, Laurel, roll a religion check at the mention of the Wave Mother. Just to see if she knows who that is.
This will be fun. Let me click on my bit. Let me open that up. Religion check, because I am the paladin that dumped into so
That sounds
this'll be
honestly
great.
about on par for Paladin.
that's about right. Oh, actually, that's not bad. 17.
Oh yeah, that's.
Okay.
I would say that's pretty good.
I was gonna say that's pretty good, actually. Like,
Yeah, that is pretty good. I will say, since this is Cesario's realm, Cesario, or Devin, when you have a chance, just message Tiff sort of what people would probably know about Umberly, beyond your realm, what people would know of Umberly. I'll let you sort of decide what your family, what your people let out. You know what I mean?
Okay. So.
What's up?
Umberly is known by a lot of different names. Um, though often referred to as Queen of the Depths or the Wave Mother. There are other slanderous names for her, which are considered heretical in nature, of which we'll not go into this stream. But she
I mean, we
holds
could,
domain.
but
I need the dolphin noise on a soundboard so we can pull a SpongeBob
so
on
you
it.
can, like, I like the whole like sense.
Sorry, go on.
But she often I'm having a stroke. She holds domain over the sea, and whether or not it be through fear or courtesy of her domain, sailors often pour wine into the water or toss coins in before they make a voyage leaving port as a tribute to not get sunk or disappear.
So Laurel's eyes will just kind of go a little bit wide. I'm assuming she would probably also know the slanderous term of the Bee Queen. Queen Bee. We'll call her the Queen Bee. Let's go with that. We'll
Yeah,
call her Buzz.
I was gonna call her the Sea Witch, but that
The
seems
Sea Witch works
that
too.
seems troublesome in its own way.
Yes, but I kind of like Queen
Heresy.
Bee. The Queen Bee.
Yeah,
but
you do
Laurel's
know
eyes-
the uncouth words for her.
Yes. Laurel's eyes just kind of widen a little bit, like, you, but, I mean, I'm not entirely sure why you, I'm sure there's reasons. I'm sure she's a fantastic, I'm sure she's got a great, no, she's got a, why do you follow her?
I was born into her church.
And?
She's the mother of all who come from the sea.
You could just see her eye twitching a little bit as she smiles and nods. Okay.
Can I insight? This seems
Yeah,
like a good opportunity to insight.
Roll an insight, and Laurel, roll either persuasion or deception, but don't necessarily say which one.
Ha! That's a lot better. Thank God. 15 insight.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide. It's like I feel like she's trying to hide something, which makes me think. Yeah. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what she would be
Oh.
persuading at this point. Yeah.
You
No, she's
can
not hiding
tell.
it very well.
You can tell she's got an opinion right under the surface that she's not vocalizing. You couldn't say what
he
the
gives her a
opinion. Go ahead.
He gives her a curious look. He's like, "What are you thinking?" But he's not going to question her at the moment. They've got bigger things to do, rather than have theological talks. That's a downtime problem.
Understood. You will have some travel time as well in subsequent episodes for a little bit.
And as this is happening, you can just kind of see the wheels turning in Laurel's head as she's kind of like, okay, it's fine. He's a good person. He's a good person.
For
Was that grown in
Cricket.
character, just out of curiosity?
For Cricket, I'm posting a link of Umberly's stuff in the chat, so that way you have access to play as a player.
Cool beans. I was gonna say, I'm sorry. Arlon is still standing right there with the missive. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back inside, but when you're ready, come find me. And we will speak to the Trade Alliance's liaison and get you on your way. And he leaves you with the paper and heads back inside. You guys can continue to sort of RP out here if you want to try to find anything, we can go through that, or you can just head back in and get your mission underway. Let me know what you want to do.
Sario will give a quick look to Laura, like, are you okay? It's like a quick yes or no, like, you good? Okay.
Of course, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything's great. I'm great. I'm great. Everything's great. Everything's fine. Um, great. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. It's good. It'll be fine. Yes, yes. Everything's fine. Should we maybe go find maybe a shop? Maybe we should go get supplies. Yes, we should get supplies.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll say as well, just because you guys have been in Dragonhead for a little bit, you have some experience traveling and adventuring. We'll say each of you has 30 gold as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. So for supplies, do you want to try to go to the quartermaster in the guild hall, or do you want to go down into town?
I think the quartermaster would be the best bet.
Sure.
Because if we're doing stuff for the guild, we should be able to realistically, right, get stuff on the cheap. But Lord knows if that's actually true or not. Or they just do what the military does and just triple the price of everything.
But we could also how much time do we have before we have to worry about like heading out or anything?
You get the impression that the idea is come see me soon, but there wasn't an explicit time limit given. This is going to be a little bit retroactive,
So-
but roll me an insight check, please, on Aralon.
Is that just Laurel or the party?
We'll say the whole party can if they want to. Anyone who wants to insight Aralon, go for it.
God damn it!
I combined
This
Laurel
is
and
going to
Aralon.
jail.
Cricket and Laurel are both
Nice.
on it.
Cricket. Nice.
Both of you trick instantly that Aralon is not thrilled about this job. You're maybe not entirely sure why per se, but he doesn't seem in a hurry to finish it, and he doesn't seem like he respects or appreciates the Kythosian trade alliance. So you get the impression that he's probably not going to pressure you if you take a while. If you don't show up until later tonight or something, he's not going to punish you or anything like that. It should be okay.
I think we probably have time to maybe check like the town and the quartermaster. We could see one, then the other, and then we can figure it out from there. I'd like to kind of know what my options are. What about you, Cricket?
Cricket thinks for a moment and then just kind of like looks to you and nods and goes, "Have time?"
I rolled a natural one.
That's okay. We rolled natural 20s.
You
We
gotta
covered.
stop rolling D1s for these checks. It's not working out for you, man.
I had the aesthetic looking dice. It was bubbly. It was pretty, and it's just like 1.
It's a
13,
ball.
1.
You have used
You
a
have
ball.
Obviously, yeah. I think that you've obviously not sacrificed enough to Umberly yet.
She's not a fate one.
Don't get me started. Cesario's the one who would.
Oh, hopefully we don't get into that too early.
Tee.
So Cesario's impression is that this is a job. What that means to him, what his work ethic is, I couldn't say. But as far as he can tell, this is a job that needs doing. It's as urgent or what as he determines, but he doesn't have any impression of Aralon's perspective on it. He doesn't have any clue what he might be thinking.
Dragons are hard to read.
Yeah, they don't have eyebrows. How weird is that? How do you read a face without eyebrows?
Right?
I don't know. I find that the dragons are really easy to read. Actually, I think they're fascinating. Um, like, and they're pretty cool.
But I think we have time to do the stuff that we need to do, but it's best not to dilly dally. Is that the word? Dilly dally?
Dilly dally is
I
a
think so.
word. I don't know if it's the word you want, but it is a word.
That's
I agree. That
professional
is a
question.
word.
Dilly dally.
Dilly dally, dilly dally. Um. So where should we go first? What should we do first? I think we got a little bit of time that we can make sure that we're well prepared for it.
I still say the quartermaster, personally. That feels like the best idea.
Well, let's start there. And if we are still needing something, or if we find that it's not the best for us, we can still have time to go to town, probably. What do you
Yeah.
think, Cricket?
Cricket kind of nods along and whispers to themselves, "Go to town."
So, would you like to? You want to go to town? Is that where you'd like to go?
Cricket nods and just go to town. Go to town.
I think we should have time to do both. Um, is it okay if we start with the quartermaster first? It's closer.
I mean, we could always head out to town now and then come back for the quartermaster. Either way, we have to come back here. It does. It. I don't think it really matters in what
Okay.
order.
Well, then, let's go to town first, so that the shops there might close earlier. The quartermaster's probably gonna be open for a while. I mean, I think maybe possibly, and it might. I don't know how long it takes necessarily to get. Do we know how long it takes to get to the town?
Um,
On that, what
On
is
that
up?
note,
so the guild hall, well, the Adventurers Guild occupies essentially a large college campus. So there are multiple buildings, there are courtyards and training grounds, and it's a rather large place within Dragonhead. Um, it's not really outside town per se, but it is kind of on the edge of it. And it is not close to the shops. On foot, assuming you knew exactly where you were going, you're probably looking at, I don't know, maybe hour and a half to find a place, depending on what you're finding. Just moving through town, and this is the capital city of this island, so it is massive, and yeah,
Gotcha.
you're looking at an
Um,
hour and a half to find a place, to find the place you were looking
are
for.
are there like is there public transportation in this city? Like, are there carts going from like the community college,
Yeah,
guild hall?
yeah. Are
to
there like
the
shuttle
city?
buses? Um,
Yeah.
there are just now because I've decided there are. Um, there
Thousand
are
lore.
there are scuttles. They are they are initially they kind of look like carriages, but they don't seem to have wheels. And when you get in them, um these almost spider-like legs fold out from underneath as it like rises off the ground, and it just scuttles through the city and takes you where you need to go. Um
That's wicked.
yeah. I mentally like heard the phrase scuttle bus and I was like, nice. Anyway, yes, there are scuttles in Dragonhead that will take you where you need to go. So you're looking at 20 minutes, 25 minutes because they can move more quickly through spaces than you can.
And then, would
Gotcha.
Cricket happen to know of any shops that can give good deals or anything, thanks to the good old roguish thieves camp?
Be more
Huh?
specific. What kind of shop? Like, what are you guys looking to buy?
I
Um,
feel like basic gear.
yeah, maybe uh some weapons or armors or uh perhaps even like just minor potions that could help us on our adventure.
I would like to buy the most amazing 30 gold legendary item I can find.
You will You might get a very nice dagger.
A very
Um,
nice dagger. Okay. Will it do anything, or will it just be pretty?
we'll get there in a second.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
Cricket, roll a history check for me. See if you know of anything particularly enticing.
Like a fence.
Yeah. See if Cricket has like a contact in Dragonhead that can help them. Okay,
I'm
that's
not
pretty
very
good.
good at his.
Yeah, 17's pretty good.
That turned out way better than I was expecting.
Yeah, Cricket's been rolling pretty good tonight, actually. Um, it takes you think on it for a second during the ride, but when you get to the shop district, the shopping district, you quickly start scurrying off down like alleyways and leading them with you, and eventually you come to what seems to be a pawn shop, sort of nestled away from the main thoroughfare of the shopping district. Um, it's called the Cracked Kettle, and you are familiar with this place. You've been here before. You've actually hidden out when you've needed to with the owner of the Cracked Kettle. Ooh, excuse me.
Cricket is kind of like scurrying down the road, like looking back to the others, like gesturing them to follow, and just in Laurel's voice back to them. Exciting! Exciting!
Um, fantastic. So yeah, as you approach the Cracked Kettle, you hear a sort of crash on the inside and some very loud, very crass words in a voice that you recognize as uh, Marion Kettlebottom. You are familiar with this person, Cricket, the proprietor of the Cracked Kettle. And as you guys come in, there's a little bell that rings on the door, and she sees you three. She sees Cricket first, just because she's used to looking for Cricket, but she also sees the other two after a second, and just, oh, hello, hello. Wonderful to see you again, Cricket, darling. And who are you new friends?
Cricket just kind of like hops to the side and like flares their wing out to kind of like gesture to the two of them. And, Laurel and Cesario.
I love the imitating their voices. It's so good.
So
Um,
wholesome.
Wonderful to meet you, Laurel and Cesario. Fantastic.
Laurel does her like bowing 3 times
Oh,
thing.
please don't. Please don't. You don't need to bow,
No, no, no.
dear.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
I don't know how to take it back.
you don't need to take it back, darling. Just stop. We are equals. You don't need to bow to me. What can I do for you, though? What can the Cracked Kettle do for you?
Can it? Does can cracked kettles hold water? Is that a thing?
Oh, it's. Let's say the name is more of a metaphor than an offer. Yes?
No.
She just kind of, like, with that laugh, just kind of turns away from Cesario and, like, leans over the counter. This is an elderly human woman wearing a comfortable dress with an apron, and the apron has just a rather hideous stain on it that looks very fresh. Looks like it just happened. Um, and as she leans over the counter, she sort of bumps something with her foot, and you see a bottle like roll out from behind the counter. I think I'd rather talk to you, Cricket, darling. What are you here for? And with that, we are going to wind down the first part of the inaugural episode of the Iodrarune Fables.
Sorry,
What are you sorry for? You didn't do anything wrong.
I broke myself.
What? What did you do? Is this thing on? Hello, hello.
Hi.
Oh, it's good to see you. Adventures. Oh, yep, there's another one just popping up out of nowhere. That's exciting. It's very cool. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second part of our stream. In this part of our stream is a little bit of a longer game where we're going to be talking about doing things kind of more in a mission style, more of a bounty board type of adventure style in the same world of Iodrarune. For this one, we're called Iodrarune for Hire, where we've got different adventurers who are coming into different cities and just kind of looking for work. We're going to get started here pretty quickly, but first I'd like to introduce you to our characters. Ava, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, yeah, I'm Avalon, or Ava, as you might prefer. She, her, or they, them. And I am playing Daisy, the Harangon wild sorcerer. Any pronouns are fine for her. She does not care.
Fantastic, good to know. Devin, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your character?
Hi, Devin. I go with pronouns he, him. I will be playing Tom, a Kalishtar fighter.
That's fantastic.
Also
We'll
he.
get. Say that again?
Also he, him.
Also, he, him. Fantastic. As we get into this a little bit further, we may also, if you don't know much about Kalishtar are kind of like, well, actually, Devin, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what Kalishtar are, how they work?
Okay. Kalishtar were once purely human before some sort of calamity that happened with a race known as the Quarry, eventually leading them to become soul linked with these humans who became more psionic in nature, and they are bonded with a Quarry. They don't dream truly. The Quarry reminisces memories or important details that their host should be aware of.
And for the purpose of our stream, we have our Quarry, where Tom's Quarry is actually being played by a separate character. Who's going to be, or a separate player who's going to be popping in and out every so often, playing as Rai the Quarry, or Ray. I think I get the confirmation if it's Ray the Quarry or Rai the Quarry. But every so often, if you notice that the Quarry is doing something, just know that there is a behind-the-scenes character actually controlling that. So, welcome one and all. Welcome to Airedale. We're going to be moving right into our actual storyline here. As you may have seen in our slideshow, we have an introduction here in regards to what Airedale is. Now, rumors claim that Airedale was fully created and populated in the span of a fairy's blink. And while not strictly factual, most rumors do tend to have an element of truth to them. Where one day there was a fragrant meadow of wildflowers on a cliffside overlooking the ocean, the next there was a small but bustling city that could have only been created by the temperamental magic of the Feywild, or possibly by a community of very dedicated mages working overtime through the night. This picturesque city of magic seems oddly natural in the way that it stands out on the horizon. It's as though the flowers of the fields or the inspiration for the colors of the town and the smells of the various potions and elixirs that were created within. The beauty of this city is enough to make most travelers take a few moments to admire it before venturing into the gate. There's something almost otherworldly about this city, though it's really hard to place a finger on what the je ne sais quoi is. Denizens of the city appear relaxed in their day-to-day dealings with each other. Smiles are freely shared amongst themselves, and by all accounts, it appears to be a lovely, warm, and inviting city. Most who populate it tend to be elvish in descent, though you see a few gnomes and genasi also make their home there, with no obvious prejudice shown to them. Other races, however, are not always so lucky, especially if they're unable to easily blend in or mask their appearance. Tolerance is widely practiced in the city, being tolerated is not quite the same as being accepted. Now, if one is able to prove their magical prowess, the denizens will typically overlook the quote unquote flaws that plague those that belong to the quote unquote undesirable races. The same could be said for those who can provide a good amount of coin for trade or service. Well, at least until the coin runs out. But for those who cannot, well, life in this city is not all that it's cracked up to be. That's really not as good for them as it is for others. You hear the sounds of water flowing from the numerous nearby waterfalls, and that fills whatever silence may exist with kind of a calming white noise. While it makes it harder to listen to full conversations between people as they pass, it does add to the ambiance of relaxation and the mystique that the city provides. An elvish male sits at a cafe with a porcelain cup of cherry blossom tea, and he just watches the people walk by. His eyes shift from one person to the next, and as they pass around, he just smiles to himself, catching bits and pieces of conversations being had just completely out of context. Let me see if I can remember how to open things up to actually show pictures, because I've got pictures of people. I'm super excited about this. I got it there. Nope, that's not it. Where are you? Is it in the journal? It's in the journal. It's definitely in the
Okay,
journal.
so are you trying to show character art, like of an NPC or something?
No, I'm trying to show a specific thing. There we go. I think I found it. I've just got to actually show players things. And show. Did that
Ooh,
work?
fancy.
Oh, I remember him.
You remember him. Doesn't look like it's necessarily showing up in the stream right now, which is unfortunate, and I'm not sure why.
Give it a sec.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Although I can't
So-
seem to close it on the stream, so that's not fun.
That's not fun at all. This is good time to know.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you for that, Vice. But yeah. Nope, there it goes. Cool. So I'm sad that I couldn't actually show the other thing. Let me see if I can find the other image. Oh, there we go. I want to show this image. This is the one I want to see. And show. Does that work?
Yeah.
This is like this is the fun
Yes.
part there. Here we go. And see if it pops up on the stream also here in a second, because you can actually see the super fun bit of the town guard Sanov enjoying his cup of tea, which I think is like a nice little visual treat so that you kind of know who's dealing with this, who's kind of giving you the side eye when you guys are
That'll do.
walking in. Good to know. I think there's like that little delay there, but it's good to know that it is there. So, that elvish male sits at a cafe with that porcelain cup of cherry blossom tea, just watching people walk by. As his eyes shift from one person to the next, he smiles to himself, catching little bits and pieces of conversation being had just completely out of context. Taking a sip from his cup, his attention is drawn to the city gates. The clattering and clanking of armor would have likely grabbed his attention on its own. But you, the people, walking through this gate, making a ruckus, are simply too obvious to ignore. He catches your eye and slowly lowers his cup. The smile that he has reserved for most people in the town, not evident on his lips as he scans you over. Let's have an insight check from each of you for like your first roll of the game.
Ooh.
That's not perfect.
Well,
It's
first
always
real
a
one
fun
anyway.
one, right? First real one, right?
I remember my
Oh, there we
character
go.
sheet.
There's my sheet.
Insight.
Inside.
I'm so
get
good at
the
wisdom, you guys.
rolling Going.
So good at wisdom.
All right. So good at wisdom. So we've got a 5 from Daisy and a 15 from Tom, it looks like. Daisy, you're just kind of used to people giving you the stink eye. It's just you don't even care anymore. You're like, yeah, whatever. Doesn't even phase you. Doesn't you don't notice it in the least. You're just too busy admiring many things in the village itself, like all the flowers that are popping up. You're trying to figure out, like, oh, what's that moss? Those little types of details. Tom, you're a little bit more wary, a little bit more battle worn, and you just kind of notice he's not really looking at you in a kind way. This disheveled man and this scraggly rabbit entering town, arriving together, seems to be really suspicious to this man.
I'm gonna put my hood up. Just
As we're walking in, Daisy toward Tom just, and then I said, I don't care how small he looks, you can't put a goblin in there. And I died. She did not tell you the first half of this joke. I want to make that clear.
And that just makes the town guard even like raise an eyebrow even more suspicious, as he's kind of like, he's only catching bits and pieces of this conversation because of the waterfalls in the background in the first place. But now we're talking about shoving goblins into bags. And you just kind of see that he's like staring at you, debating whether or not he wants to say something or just let the rest of the town deal with it. But as that moment passes, a small, practiced smile returns to his lips, and he nods to each of you. Greetings. Are you looking for something in particular, or are you perhaps lost?
work.
At this point, you may each describe your characters.
Oh,
You can go first. Go for it.
oh, okay. Tom stands about 6 foot, wearing very heavily travel-worn clothes, simple browns and greens. One would mistake him as a ranger for the two swords he carries on his hips. One a short sword and the other a scimitar.
Yeah.
Out of his pocket pokes a little mousy head of a flower mouse, daisy mouse. I don't remember what the specific term is, but a little mouse pokes their head out of his shirt before he kind of like pokes it back down, trying not to attract too much attention to the mouse.
So as you do that, the town guard notices, and you just kind of see him shudder, like, "Oh, you're bringing vermin into the room." Okay, fine. Daisy, go ahead and describe your character.
Yeah, so Daisy is, as has been previously stated, a scraggly rabbit of a person. They stand about 5 foot even, very thin frame, but a bouncy sort of, almost dancery kind of step. Um, they are wearing just a really, a weirdly fluffy, bathrobe in lieu of regular clothes. Um, and there's a sweatband that matches the color of the pink bathrobe. That's sort of, I'm gesturing like you can see me. I'm not on camera. Um, the
It's okay. We can see
sweatband.
Daisy while you're talking about her, and she looks
Yes.
fantastic.
So yeah, her fur is sort of almost a calico pattern. With sort of a mixture of dark brown and a light gray. And she is also wearing a pink sweatband that sort of holds her ears back. And on the sweatband is emblazoned a yellow sort of third eye with a swirl instead of a pupil.
Love that.
And she has sort of a semi-permanent smile rather, and a semi-permanent dusting of dirt on her fur. She gives the strong impression that she does not care. And as we're walking in, she sort of like reaches into the robe pockets and pulls out a spherical, some sort of like black shiny sphere. And you see sort of really, really like worn and scratched up. You see the number 8 um, on the side of this sphere, and she sort of like looks at it and shakes it, and then out she sort of like produces almost like a magician. She produces a dandelion, and as we're passing by this town guard, she just like drops the dandelion in his teacup as if it were a vase, and just keeps walking.
Oh, so you okay? Fantastic. So
Chaos gremlins.
you're starting off with chaos abounding. Fantastic. So
You knew
as
what
he
I was
kind of looks,
doing.
I knew what you were doing. It's fine. So as you put your flower in his teacup, he just kind of stares at it and gives this long, resigned sigh of this. Puts his teacup down. Just absolutely annoyed that you basically ruined his tea. And he's just like, well, what remind me again, are you lost? Why are you here?
I don't think it's possible to be lost when you have no idea where you want to be. Where am I, though?
Oh, you aren't even sure where you are at this point, is what I'm hearing. Is this true?
Did you lose the map again?
We had a map? Why did you
Uh,
give me the map? You knew I was going to lose it. I lost 3.
You said you could handle it.
And then
Oh my.
she takes a deep sigh. And then um with like a flourish of unearned confidence and pizzazz, pulls out the map, and it is tied in like a it is tied with this very pretty delicate pink ribbon. Gotcha. And she like snaps the ribbon off with another flourish, folds it out, looks at it for a second, turns it around, looks at it for a second. Airedale? Is that where we are?
Yes. Yes.
He looks
Fantastic.
over
Th-
Daisy's shoulders, like, okay, cool, it's not upside down.
I can't do that every
No.
time. Like, statistically, I have to be right occasionally.
At this, the town guard is just like putting his hand to his forehead and just kind of like cursing in Elvish, just kind of like, oh gosh, see me through this, see me through this. And he's just forcing that smile back to his lips. And he's just kind of like, well, not a lot of people choose to stop here just in passing. Are you coming to Airedale for any particular reason?
She looks up at Tom. What was it you just said?
We're here. We're here for work to establish commerce and to gain
Commerce.
coin.
We're getting okay. Well, we do know that this is one of the most renowned places in the entire world. It makes sense that you would come here kind of to seek your fortune. Good luck with that.
Me
And
too, thank you.
seeming satisfied, if not like generally annoyed with your answers, he just kind of pulls a book out of his pocket. All right, then. If you plan to stay in the city, I'm going to need a record of your entrance. I need your names. One at a time, please. And if you'd like to make a perception check at this, you are welcome to do so.
I would love to.
Okay. God, okay. Oh, my perception's actually okay. That's a 14
That is your-
for Tom.
It's like your perception's okay, but does that mean that your roll is okay?
I'm
mean,
glad
it
yours
was-
is,
it's
because
something.
mine is less good. I rolled a 12.
You
I have
rolled a
minus
12?
1. I rolled a 12, yes.
Fantastic. What languages do you guys speak?
Oh,
I
probably just
speak
Sylvan.
Common, Deep Speech, and Quarry.
Please give me a
Fantastic.
moment.
Are you just
Um,
double checking what your languages are? Because that'd be a good idea.
I speak Sylvan and Primordial.
Fantastic. So, one at a time, as you give him your names, the elf writes your names in Elvish. Oh, shock, surprise. And there seems to be some like additional scribbles that he makes, but you can't really tell what they are. because neither of you speak the language. But Tom, you especially do notice that he's noting something in a language you can't read. And then he
Can I
closes the book with a
take
snap. All right.
could I take an opportunity to like remember the symbols so I can write them down later and ask what they mean to somebody else?
Do you have a feat that allows you to do that, or are you just trying to get like an idea to kind of remember? Do you want to roll a history check or an intelligence check to see if you can remember it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly gunning for the intelligence.
Yeah, let's go for
Yeah.
intelligence check to see if you can quickly. Do you have that photographic memory?
Yeah. Yeah. God damn it.
I gotta say
No.
no, probably. Yeah. Okay. What did you roll?
No.
No.
The usual.
You need those dice. Don't like you.
See,
You
this
need
is
to
what
get
you
different
get for
dice.
this is what you get for buying dice from Will Wheaton. I told you not to do that, man.
He gets
They
rid of the
were a
dice. He doesn't work.
bargain.
The man
They've already
passes the
been
curse
cursed,
on.
man. Right? That's the thing. Oh. But yes, once at a time, like he writes your names down. There seems to be additional scribbles. Scribbles look like scribbles to you, and you feel like, okay, I don't even know. I can't make out that this is a script. I could not replicate it in the future, so it's really hard to kind of
Gonna
figure out
do-
what's going on.
do
He does,
one
and
more
again,
personal check for me.
oh, what do you want to do?
We are not literate.
Are you not
The
literate?
dice have deemed that we are not literate.
I mean, it's going to make some of this more difficult, but maybe you'll just have to pull in some help from your quarry in order to get some assistance at this point.
We're doing great.
Oh, you're doing great. It's awesome. All right. But yeah, after he writes your names down, he kind of closes the book with a snap. And he's all right. So there's a suitable establishment for your kind with drink and rest about 500 yards from here. I'd suggest you go there first to get settled. When
What do
he
you mean by
points,
your
That was my question.
roll
Do you
an
have a lot of
roll an insight check if you want, or are you asking him out loud? Either
I'm
way.
asking him out loud.
Yeah. We have two
That'd be
brain
one
cells
of
among
these.
us, and they have the
Okay.
same thought process.
So you ask him out loud, and he just kind of like looks at you with like the most annoyed expression. He can't hide his disdain at this point. And like he's actively looking over your dirty, disheveled, scraggly selves, and he's looking around at the rest of the like ambiance around all the environment, the beautiful flowers, everything is perfectly and meticulously cultivated, and he just kind of like points at you, points at the gardens, points at the architecture, and then just kind of shrugs like, come on.
While he's doing all of that, while he's gesturing and
Yes,
making a point,
making his point.
can
Yes.
I attempt with Mage Hand
Mm-hmm.
to swipe his teacup while he's not looking?
Oh, please do.
Okay, so what do you want me to do? Is that like, do you want me to roll a sleight of hand or?
I definitely want a sleight of hand from that.
Okay, sure.
That's definitely.
While he's also distracted, can
Yes.
I take his book? I'm assuming that's still on the table, yes?
Sleight of hand on that.
I am going to use my Tides of Chaos to give myself advantage on this roll. Oh, I rolled a 7 with advantage.
I'm proud of you.
I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Unrelated.
Okay,
I rolled a 19.
Okay, 19 is
So-
definitely better.
I just want to say real quick,
Yeah.
Daisy's hand motions are not subtle. So
No.
I think the spell works, but she's standing in front of him, looking him in the face and like waving her hand around like a Jedi.
I feel. What I will say happened here, because I'm just loving this imagery too much, right? So what's happening is you've got Daisy just standing in front of him, like locked dead eye with him, right? Just kind of like moving her hands around, just kind of like woo, 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 doing like all the motions, and like he's a well-practiced town guard. He knows what magic looks like. He knows that you're doing some sort of magic. And I am going to need I do want a charisma, like a specific charisma check, just a straight charisma check from you, Daisy.
Sure.
Straight
Yeah.
to charisma check.
With Daisy's.
Okay.
23.
You can't see me. Jesus.
So,
Bloody hell.
fortunately for you, Daisy, he finds this amusing more than threatening. Annoying, but amusing. It's like, okay. And so he's not immediately going to try to arrest you and do anything, but he is kind of annoyed and just amused at this, like, okay, what's going on here? I'm not entirely sure what's going on. But you kind of see like the upturn of a small smile on his face. This does give Tom the opportunity, because he is distracted by Daisy's antics, to successfully take the book. You've got the book now. What do you want to
Daisy,
do with it?
let's. I'm putting it away. It's
Okay.
out of sight, out of mind.
Slipping it away.
He's not getting it back.
All right then. We are already determined that this is how this is gonna go. Cool, cool. All right.
We were like, not even
Yeah.
in the city yet. We were like, let's become criminals.
We're
Oh,
coming here for work. We're here as total
mean-
outlaws. We're gonna make ourselves outlaws to start.
look,
I
I
think
didn't
that next
expect
week
a
we want the
7
dungeons
with
out, right?
advantage, okay?
I mean, the first thing I was gonna do was check and see if my name was on the bounty board, but that sucked. I mean,
We've got the whole what is it? The whole Flynn Rider thing going on here. We've just got
a little bit.
a little
You
bit.
never
Kinda
get
like
my
the
nose right.
basis of the concept.
It's quite
Okay.
amusing. Okay. All right. Breathing. Welcome to the game, guys. We put the dungeon in Dungeons and Dragons, apparently. So, as you walk in the direction of the proffered inn, you just kind of both collectively glance around the town. You get an idea, like you notice it really is beautiful here. It's a feast for your collective senses. You know, the colors are all bright, but they're also very complementary to each other. The architecture is vivid, it's alive. All the locals are generally pretty easy to spot, and all seem to be keeping a pretty fair distance from you as they go about their own daily activities.
That's fair.
That's
Most
fair.
don't even acknowledge your presence at all. They just kind of act like you aren't even there. The further you walk in the direction that you were given, the more you notice the buildings begin to change. In time, I'd call it maybe like 10, 15-minute walk or so. You make it to the inn that was mentioned, which is called the Longing Turnip. And it's a beautiful little space. Let's see if I can show this space here. Can I do that? Did that work? Did I have to
Give
name
me a
it?
moment.
I have to name it first. Haha. Okay. We got
You said
this.
the
We got
longing
this.
turnip?
The Longing Turnip. And it's a beautiful little place. Very cultivated, very cute.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's nice and cozy.
like the college core aesthetic.
It does. You got the idea, like everything in this town really does look lovely. There is that dreamy, beautiful, Feywild-esque kind of feeling to it. It is all gorgeous. It really is. As you make your way there, you notice that it's a quaint little tavern. It's on the far edge of town. And as you're walking, you notice different signs, and they're little signs. You've got, well, I guess you guys couldn't read it, so you just notice little
I
signs of
can
Elvish.
read.
Do you read Elvish though?
I do not read Elvish.
There you go.
Make a sign
So
in
you notice-
Sylvan and I'll read it.
You know what? Roll me a straight d20.
Sure. And then as a 20. I got 20 on that one.
You got a 20 on your straight d20.
Mhm.
There are a couple signs that are in Sylvan. So you do notice the Sylvan signs that are around, and they're pointing to some of it's called the Outer Circle. You notice that this Outer Circle, this inn, the Longing Turnip, is in the Outer Circle. And it's tastefully, but just kind of eclectically decorated. Say that word 5 times fast. Eclectically. And you can tell that, the owner of the establishment has a lot of heart, but not really a very good amount of funds or luck, or maybe both, to quite measure up to the lavish establishments that you had passed to get down here. You've kind of made your way to the slums of Airedale. Now, keep in mind that while this area is pitiful and destitute in comparison to the rest of the town, this tavern is still easily one of the most beautiful and well cared for that you may have ever seen in your lives. The windows are littered with tulips and roses, pansies, daisies, the occasional sunflower. Sometimes you've got lilies and orchids. You see all these beautiful, fragrant flowers all on display, just kind of like pulling in the nature. Uh, do you want to enter the tavern?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
I'll open the door for Daisy.
Opening the door being like a nice, gentlemanly type.
Yeah.
So as you enter the tavern, it's initially empty. Tables and chairs, they're all in different designs. The tables themselves are also set with a variety of different placings that they go well together, but they definitely weren't purchased as sets. You can tell that it's clean. You can tell that it's well cared for. Eclectic is that word that I'm pulling up again. It's just really charming. It takes a few minutes before you really hear any signs of life within the establishment. But you eventually notice a half elf the half elf owner of the Longing Turnip coming out of the kitchen, and he's brushing his hair back behind his ear with a smile as he notices you, and just start, oh, sorry for the wait. There was just kind of a lot of things that needed my attention suddenly. Do you could I do you need a room?
Yeah, a room would be 2 rooms would be fantastic.
Aw, you don't want to share a
Um,
room with me? And after
Privacy is
all this
nice.
time, I thought we were friends.
Yes, but I also like having my own room
No,
when I
I
can
get
afford
it.
it. Um,
I got you some imagery coming up here about your inside of the inn, and you get to see your innkeeper there.
What a friendly chap.
Isn't he nice? He's fantastic.
oh, oh no, he's hot.
Yes, when you're in an elvish city, that tends to happen.
You know what? Fair enough.
That's a thing. You're in a city of elves and Feywild tricksters. It tends to happen that you're around a lot of hot people. Um, so he looks to you and says, "Oh, you'd like you want 2 rooms or 1 room? What could I help you there with?
Mm,
2 rooms is fine.
Two rooms?
but yeah,
I can
Okay.
share the room with my hurt feelings.
Oh well, okay.
if you don't take
I
up the
offer
entire bed.
I offer daily, weekly, and monthly rates for rooms. Each room that's rented each day. Each day, it comes with the 3 standard meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 1 non-alcoholic drink, all included in the price of your lodging. So I guess how long are you planning to stay?
Let's gun for the day for now, just to get off our feet. What do you think, Daisy?
It's going to depend on how much coin I have. Please give me a moment.
I'll say that
That
you
is
have
also
each, yeah. Um, in addition to your starting funds, you've traveled a bit together before getting here. You've been able to pick up little pieces of work here and there. So I'll give you each an additional 10 gold that you have available to kind of work with.
Cool.
ooh, 20 gold.
Do you
um,
use do you use Electrum? This is an important canon question.
And Electrum is just like 50 silver, right?
Yeah,
uh,
5
it's
silver.
the
There you go.
equivalent.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah,
50 pennies. It's 50 copper. It's 5 silver. That one,
yeah, yeah.
I money math. That's a thing I do. I have no
um,
problem. Like, if you want to have Electrum and be
I
paying for
don't.
things in Electrum is kind of like a quizzical type of thing, it's going to be just as legal as a $2 bill. So you got it. And it'll be
over.
just as odd as a $2 bill when you're spending it too. So you
I,
got that.
I hate Electrum. I was um. I can't believe you called my bluff. That's uncalled for.
Aha!
Live here on the internet. Um,
Live. You have been put in your place, miss.
that's what you think.
For now.
Bull.
You'll get off the shelf soon enough. I know.
Oh, I forgot I had Lucky. Anyway, um,
Don't you?
I
thought you did
do,
have
and I
Lucky.
forgot about it.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh.
well, how much is the weekly rate?
Oh, his cheeks turn a little red and he just kind of stammers a little bit more as he's like, "Oh, I guess to 10 silver for the week. But it's 2 silver a day or, 3 gold if you want to stay a whole month."
Do you want to
Yeah,
just do the 3 gold?
yeah, we may as well. That's per room, right?
Yeah, yes, per room. I mean, I just charge for a room though. I mean, how many people you decide you want to put in a room is really well. I mean, it's up to you really. If you decide that you want to like room together, drink and dinner is like separate outside of room costs for this extra person. But breakfast is ready shortly after dawn. Lunch is served more or less at your leisure. Dinner's at dusk. Um,
What a fine establishment
Fantastic.
you're running. I
thank
think
thank
each of us a room for a month if you have it.
I do, yes, of course. He kind of like fumbles behind the counter for a second and kind of reaches under, grabs 2 keys, and looks at the first one, just kind of holds it up and like inspects it, make sure that it doesn't have any sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Any sort of damage to the actual key itself. And you just kind of see this nice little bronze key, and he hands the first one to Daisy. And he's like, "Oh, this is for room 3. It's the third room down the hall with the 3 on it." And then he looks at the
Excellent.
second key, and he hands the second key to Tom. Uh, this is for room. Did you want a room together or like far apart? How do you?
Next door is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that works because that's the room I have. I have this for room 4. It's down the hall next to room 3. It has the 4 on it. Um, yeah.
Was that
Yes.
noise in character? Are you
Yeah.
okay?
No, I'm good. Yes, I'm fine. Yeah. So, thank you. And as you give him the 3 gold, you can kind of see like his hands are shaking as he's taken your money. And he seems a little like flabbergasted by it.
Are you okay?
Well, we just passed him the equivalent of like 300 bucks.
Yeah, basically. He's like, yeah, I'm that's very okay. Yes, dinner when would I've got yeah, lunch anytime. We tend to have a variety of different fruits and vegetables, and sometimes we have meats coming in. It'll be it, it'll be worth your while. I swear it'll be absolutely worth your while. Um, thank you,
Did,
thank you. Please
did we get
don't
his name?
say that again.
Did we get his name?
I don't think you did yet.
I'm just gonna. Okay. Tom's gonna just like put 2 hands out, like just slow down, breathe. We're not going anywhere.
Okay.
For at least a month.
Breathe. Yes, Daisy. Just breathe. You're fine.
Okay. I feel I feel good. I feel really, really good. Um, thank you. And you almost see tears welling up in his eyes. He's trying to like hold them back the best that he can. Like, thank you. I'll make this a fantastic stay for you the whole time. I will do my best.
Finally, some good treatment in this town. Excellent. What time is it now, DM?
I guess I could probably figure out what time it is. Like, you don't know what time it is? Jeez, how do you not know what time
Well,
it is?
Daisy may not, but I'd like to know as a player.
Well, let's
I'm,
see.
I'm just happy Tom can count.
We're just there right now.
Hold
Uh,
on.
we're gonna
Uh,
call it 10 a.m.
We're good.
10
We can
a.m.
count.
Okay.
So you're still there. It's like you may have briefly missed the breakfast, but it sounds like he would be willing to, like, if you really wanted breakfast, there's still breakfast available, and that you could still get breakfast, even though it's more of a shift to lunch at this point.
We'll get some lunch in a bit.
Yeah, of course. I, would you? Are you looking for anything in particular for lunch, or are you hankering for anything special? Is there anything I could go get for you?
You are fantastic, but I think I'm good. By the way, I didn't catch your name. My name
Oh,
is Daisy. Whoopsie Daisy.
Daisy. Whoopsie Daisy. It's good to meet you, Daisy. But my name is Rainshore.
Nice to meet you, Rainshore.
Thank thank you. And your friend. I guess I should have put your names in the the, the book. I I should have. Daisy. He starts writing down your name next to room at number 3, and then he looks to Tom. Could I get your name?
Yes, my name, sir, is Tom Rain Dancer.
Tom Rain Dancer.
If I could,
Oh,
I'm sorry, if I could
yeah.
get a clarification real quick. Rainshore
Yes.
is Rainshor?
Yes.
Woohoo!
And I think that I can actually like start opening up journal stuff for you. You guys should have access to your group journals.
I do at
Um,
least.
let me know if you don't. But I think I can also start opening up information from this. If I go here
Oh,
and I've done that. I'll
handouts.
probably
How
do this a little bit
fancy.
later, but I have some basic information for each of these already written out for everybody. But you'll notice that Rainshore, he's a half elf. He is the proprietor, the owner of the Longing Turnip. He's shy, he's nervous, but very kind. And, for what you're getting, it seems to be like a pretty fair deal. A month for 3 gold. Not bad. And you got all your meals covered for the most part. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, as you are given your keys and given information about like lunchtime and such, what else would you like to do?
Um, do you want to check out the bounty board, Jason?
I
See if there's anything that catches our fancy.
absolutely.
Wicked.
We are supposed to be here for work, after all.
There's a bounty board right outside. I don't know if you noticed it when you were passing through.
Oh, is that
Uh,
what all the pretty pictures were?
Daisy like leans in really close with this really like intense look on her face and just goes, "Sir, I will have you know, I have
Yes.
never willingly noticed a single thing in my entire life." And then she like moves to walk out the door.
He just kind of scratches his head and watches you leave, like a mild bemusement on his face, but you can kind of see that he's definitely amused by. He's got like a big smile as you're like leaving. And then he just kind of like straightens himself up and just kind of looks to Tom and like, yeah, the bounty board, you should find it just right outside if that's what you're looking for.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Of course.
You will give a not courteous, but a quick, polite bow, half bow, nod of the head.
Okay, quick polite bow, half bow, nod of the head, just kind of like an acknowledgement of sorts. Go ahead.
Yeah, as he steps outside to go join Daisy.
Beautiful. Now, as you step outside, again, it's like you're stepping out into that fragrant garden. Like literally every beautiful flower in the world seems to exist here in some form. And trying to like getting out there, you see everything and you can't find anything because everything is there. It's almost like finding a needle in the haystack when you're kind of walking out if you're looking for any specific flower. Again, as you're walking out of the tavern, most people around seem to be actively avoiding you. Uh, they seem to think like if they don't acknowledge you, maybe you won't bother them. You notice those beautifully decorated signs again, pointing in different directions. Um, that could possibly be readable depending on the languages that you speak, but they're not. Um, but as you, little things like that. As you traverse the outer ring, you do notice that there are a couple of stations near the guard posts that do seem to have bounty boards or something like that on them. And You have that bounty board that's full of the prevalent criminals in the area as well as the missing people all around. Um, if you'd like to do like a perception or investigation check to check them out further, finding the bounty board was a little bit easy, but finding bounties on the board might be a little bit more interesting there.
Can I
What was
first
that check you
and
requested?
foremost-
Either perception or investigation.
Can I check
Sure.
for my name first, just to like
Do
verify
you
that I'm not
read
right here?
Elvish?
Are there pictures?
There are some pictures, but you'll have to give me some like perception or investigation to see what you can try to find.
Okay. Mostly my own face.
Yeah, but with a weird
Oh.
nose.
I rolled a nice even 10.
A nice even
Six.
10.
16.
Okay, 16. So you got a 10 and a 16. So Daisy, you notice that like there's a whole bunch of different faces of all sorts of different races kind of staring back at you from the different postings on this board. You notice that among those, not much really stands out in regards to any Harrigan necessarily. Tom, you don't see yourself in the pictures, but you do.
Nice.
Yeah, but in your with your 16, you do notice that among some of these pictures, there's also a few notices looking for work, and these seem to be written in common. It's almost as though they are actively written not in Elvish to attract certain people to do the work.
Hey, Daisy.
What's that?
What did it say?
And Daisy looks at the thing that you're looking at, and as she sort of like leans back to look at what you're looking at, you see that she has painstakingly added rabbit ears to every single picture of a person on the board. Every single one she has added rabbit ears to.
That's fantastic. That's the best. There's just rabbit ears all over the place. That's great. Okay.
Oh!
Did we get a shift to the new scene?
Yes, we did. Let me
Yeah.
make sure the stream viewer also updated. It has not yet. Oh, there it is.
It's like I'm checking out the stream on the other side here. There we go. Ta-da. But yes, as you with that 16, you're able to pick out 3 bounties that you can actually read of the multiple that you cannot, which is also just kind of a fun thing there. Your first bounty option, and I'll read it out. I would like an escort to help me on an excursion into the Airedale Forest. I have need of some rare materials found in a cave that is presently home to a quote-unquote family of lizard folk, and I would like some assistance from some lower ring muscle. I will pay you upon our return to the city. Alchemist Zebediah Chicory. At this point, I'm just curious at this point, but I'd like both of you to roll insight checks at this point, inciting this wonderful posting.
As you wish.
Yeah.
Let me.
That's a 14 for Daisy.
14. Okay.
Mm.
16.
Found a-
Nice.
Found a dice that likes me.
Okay, keep that dice. Make him happy. All right.
I'm doing my best.
Well, you just have to feed them cookies. You know, get them milk, tuck them in at night, make them happy. All right. Both of you seem to notice the phrasing lower ring muscle. Now, when you were noticing the signs before, Daisy, it said outer ring. But this one specifically says lower ring. And you get the feeling that there is definitely a connotation there that those in the outer ring might be considered lesser, might be considered lower, that it's an intentional kind of slight towards people who are in the outer ring in general.
They really don't seem to think very highly of us. I wonder if we'll prove them wrong or right.
And as
What's
those, and go ahead.
what's the next one?
And
I
as
don't
she
like.
is saying that,
Mm.
she starts reading the second one. Daisy, if you want to read the middle bounty, you certainly can.
Yeah. Come, test your luck, prove your mettle, and earn your place in our great city. Great city, right. Sorry. Speak with Elaine Rivers for more information. Ooh. Do we have metal to prove? I think we have metal.
Not yet.
I have luck. We can prove that.
Figuring out what you want to actually prove. And then the third option that you have available here. A number of violent and destructive malcontents have been illegally staying on my high-value property in the Middle Ring, and I will pay handsomely for their removal. Expedience preferred, Lysander Elnora.
Oh.
What does malcontents mean?
Is that Devin asking?
Is there an or in that question?
It was just a question. Is that Devin
Is it
asking,
in
or are you
character or
asking
out of
in
character?
character?
I'm gonna go with or.
What was that?
Yes. Yeah, it's a little bit of both. More
Little
one
bit
than
of
the
both.
other.
I don't know, but I'm assuming by destructive and violent and illegal, they mean just like bad people. I don't know. People they don't want.
Yeah, people who are not content with their lot in life. People who are not happy with the hands that they've been given, the malcontents.
Got it.
And so we have a number of.
feel
Go ahead.
like I don't know how Tom feels about like let's go destroy a family cave for items and don't know how he feels about any of this. Obviously not good.
That is the point of
But-
them.
I know, it's almost like these are the kinds of bounties that are there to like test those sort of things and your
I-
metal.
I say we go. I say we go with this middle one here. This Elaine Rivers. The other one seems so angry.
Not a fan of removing a family from their home. He perfect timing. Just puts his hand up and the little mouse he pets their head.
Oh,
Before the wee little thing retreats.
So we need to go talk to this Elaine person.
Sure. Does it say where to go?
It does not. I guess we have to ask around. Find this Elaine Rivers.
I think we can gather information on Mrs. Rivers, and then we can. I think.
I'm gonna step
Let's
away for a
take
second. I
the
need to let
one-
this cat out of the room before she screams my head off. I will be right
Fair.
back.
the cat does deserve your attention.
Yeah, I say we take the prove your metal, figure out what's going on there, and also take the violent, destructive one as well.
So would you be kind of like taking both of those off of the bounty board to carry them with you, or are you just kind of thinking
Yeah.
about them?
Get out if you want to.
Taking both down.
Taking them both down so that other people can't go claim them before you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly so like we have a to-do list.
I like that, having a to-do list. It's a smart thing to kind of keep things in mind too. It's like, I've got a to-do list, I know what's going on, I've got this going.
And at least we can go back inside and ask Rainshore about, like, oh, hey, tell us more about Elaine Rivers, or tell us more about Lysander, Eleanor, because it feels like a small town kind of vibe.
It does kind of feel like a small town kind of vibe about it. And, you know, as you are just kind of like testing out, like checking out these bounties, I would like to know, well, I'd like to know passive perceptions first.
Uh,
Oh, that's a 9 for me.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
that is a 15 for me.
15.
Hey!
So, for one reason or another, with your passive perception there, Tom, as you are checking out the bounties and just kind of looking for things, you notice out of like the corner of your eye that there's like a violet-haired, female elf walking past you, and she's making her way towards the inn.
Making our way.
Making her way
Um,
towards the inn.
that definitely catches his attention. It's
It
not
definitely
often you see
catches attention. No.
a violet-haired woman.
Well, and especially in this area of town that you're in right now, seeing a violet-haired elf around the outer ring, which has also been called the lower ring, definitely catches your attention for something.
Excuse me. I'll
Mhm.
give a nudge and Daisy in that kind of direction for them to look like at the oddity that he's noticed.
Yeah, Daisy, who had spent the last minute or so just shaking the magic 8 ball over and over again, looks up. I wonder if she knows. What if she is Elaine Rivers? Wouldn't that be lucky? I excuse me, miss.
As you start calling after her, she disappears into the longing turnip.
Well, I guess we're going back to the inn.
Oh, yeah. I will, just so you're aware, I took down the bounty, both bounties. One for the middle one and the Lysander.
Okay.
So the only one left up there is the alchemist.
Yeah.
Aye. So are you
Alright.
making your way back to the inn?
Yes, we are returning to the inn.
All right. So as you return to the inn, you do notice that the elven lady is kind of sitting there, leaning against the counter, and she just kind of taps her fingers on the counter, ignoring both of you.
How is Rainshore responding?
He's not in the room right now.
Oh, I remember this. Okay.
No, you don't. You don't remember. No metagaming. No metagaming.
I'm not. Ma'am, question?
Hmm? She just kind of turns to look at you, and her eyebrow raises. She's not really sure whether or not you're actually addressing her or not, but then seeing no one else around, she just kind of assumes that that's probably what's happening.
Hi.
Yeah? What? Hi?
We were checking out the bounty board. I was hoping to know, are you a local here? Just for, or are you a wayward traveler?
And she just kind of blinks once. Yeah. I mean, my half brother runs this place. You haven't seen him around here, have you?
He's around.
I've never heard this character out loud. Delightful.
Yeah.
I mean, I
This is
assume
exactly
he's
how
here
I
somewhere.
imagine
We
her
just saw
voice.
him like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, really? Oh, so you've got rooms here then?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So how are you liking it?
We so far so good. The atmosphere is beautiful. I have no complaints.
Rainshore is a delight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And you kind of see like the snide look on her face return. as she kind of turns back. Like, well, it's so good to hear from you. Good that you're spending your money here too. We really kind of need that. So I'm sure that Rainshore's super happy that you're here.
Meanwhile, he like passed
Yes.
out in the back after getting 6 gold at once. Uh,
Like, I got the
he like
cash.
fainted. He's on the floor behind the bar.
Yup.
Daisy like
I'm
grabs one of the chairs at the table that this person's sitting at, and like swings it around and sits on it like Commander Riker style. But she kind of misses it first and cracks her knee on the like flat of the chair,
Ouch.
pulls back,
oh,
and then like swings her leg higher and like sits on it. All right, just trying not to cry for a second, and then she uses prestidigitation. She like shakes the 8 ball again, and like try like she's dumping something upside down. Just like shakes it over the table, and a little brass statue of a rabbit just pops out, and like tanks down to the table. It's 2 inches tall tops. Um, she just, yeah, you can have this. Also, I apparently don't know how to read IRL. That only lasts until the end of my next turn, so she has 6 seconds to grab that.
6 seconds to take the wrap. She doesn't even know
Oh,
what to do with this. She just kind of looks at it, and her nose goes way upturned as she's just staring down. Like, you want me to touch that? Ew.
well,
But
not
she's not saying it out
anymore. It
loud.
disappeared.
Apparently, it was like a trick for you to get her to touch your hand or something, which might even be worse. I'm not entirely sure. um, but she looks absolutely like annoyed and disgusted at the fact that you're even trying to like do this, and she's like, yeah, okay, so like, have you seen Rain? I mean, I'm waiting for him to show up. I mean, I don't even know how the hell he gets any customers with this kind of service. I guess it explains the types he gets.
Well, I
uncalled
mean,
for. He's here. You
what
don't need
did
to be
you
rude.
want? Maybe I can grab it for you.
I'm wanting to talk to my brother. We've got some actual like things that we need to discuss. And as she is talking to you, and I'll give you like her vision, her image here. She's fun.
Oh my
Let's
god.
see if that worked.
Those are some
Like, where is she?
eyes. Look at those.
Those are some eyes. She's got her eyes. She's got her hair. I don't know if the viewer can see it or not.
Yeah, it should be up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but that's Amethyst. Do, 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 do. But as she's talking and just kind of like waiting for her brother to show up and around, there is also at the door just kind of a hello? Anybody in there?
The door outside, like
The
the
door
door.
coming in.
Yeah.
The door coming into the inn. Um, and as she comes in, Rain? Rain, are you around? I'm here. She walks in, looking around. Oh, hi, Amy. What you doing here? And the two of you see a red-headed halfling just kind of walking in with a basket of fruits and veggies just kind of on her arm. Ugh. And Amethyst says something in Elvish that you don't know, but she says it and she kind of calls it back. And then she looks down at the halfling and says, yeah, he's probably in the back somewhere. I mean, I'm waiting for him to show up myself. Oh, well, that's glad that he's in the back there. Is he needing any help? And at this point, you hear just like the crash of a whole bunch of dishes. He says, "Wait, hold on. Is that Zai? Zai, is that you?" He runs out and seems to instinctually just kind of step between the halfling and his sister, kind of providing the halfling with a body that he can hide behind. Ah. Um, do. And, Amethyst is just kind of sitting there. She leans over the counter. She's just kind of like glancing at things, trying to figure out where things are going, looking at the registry that you had all both had just recently signed in. As Rain just kind of stands up, he puffs out his chest a little bit. He's like, Amethyst, it's good to see you. Why are you here? I'm like just checking up on the business. Like, like I'm supposed to. So, how is it? It's good, Amy. It's really good. And he takes the basket from the halfling and he sets it on the counter, uh, seeming to try to position it so that she can't see the names of everybody in the books and everybody in the registers. But it's something we can talk about later. We've got guests now, at which the Amy just kind of looks over her shoulder, really unimpressed. I'll just grab some brunch. We can talk about it after the guests have been tended to. Then she just picks up an apple from the basket and just walks back into the kitchen. As she leaves, Rainshore just kind of smiles defeatedly and just kind of sighs. Oh, you don't pick family. So, what did you bring today? You notice that his demeanor picks up a little bit, almost as like he's about to open a gift as he's looking through the baskets, really excited. Oh, various things. I've got some apples. I brought in some cucumber. If you look over here, I found a papaya. Have you ever had a papaya? Papayas are pretty awesome, pretty cool. He chuckles as he picks up the basket. Uh, thanks. Thanks. It'll be good, great for lunch and dinner. And then he looks to both of you, noticing that you guys have both come in. Oh, sorry. Did you need something? I'm sorry.
Did we need something?
We
I have
had
completely lost the thread.
wish- What were you saying?
I completely forgot why we came back here.
We had some questions about the names on the board. It presents the two
Right.
bounties. That was a bad time. We can
No,
explore
please.
that.
This it's not gonna probably get any better. The people here, they don't really know any better. Um, when all you know is one way of life, and when that way of life works for you, you just you don't you don't really understand the struggles of people whom you've never really shared any struggles with, and you just assume that if you can do something that they can do it too, and if you were successful doing something a certain way, then everybody would be, and don't deviate from that path, and just do what you're told. And no, it's fine. It's bounties. You needed information. What how can I help you with that?
Names and locations, brother.
Yes, sure. Who would you like to try to find?
Well,
He hands over both bounties.
I guess the first question I have is what can you tell us about Lysander Elnora? Am I saying that right? Lysander?
Lysander, yes, Lysander. He's mostly he lives up in the upper inner. And he just kind of curses to himself in Elvish, just kind of like calm down, relax. He lives up in the upper ring. But he owns real estate in the middle ring that he uses uh just kind of as a way to earn more money for his own upkeep and things. He charges people who live in the middle ring for their rent and all those sorts of things. Yeah.
Oh, he's a social parasite. Got it.
Oh man.
Did I catch you off guard?
I knew what I was getting into. I'm just not prepared. All right. We're getting there. We'll get there. It'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine.
So, what about this Elaine Rivers?
Oh, Elaine. She's an interesting sort, really. She tends to go around kind of trying to find different people of different, backgrounds, people with different races, different different abilities, and she tries to get them together so that she can figure out how to how to best how to best help them to improve themselves and build things with things
Like a
in their way.
social worker?
I've Sure. I mean, I guess
Hmm. Do you know where we can find her?
she has a shop right by the middle ring, where the lower and the middle ring, right at the gate between the lower and the middle ring.
Yeah,
Well, she's closer, so.
I think we passed by it. Do you know anything about what's going on with Lysander? Like,
Go,
with why he's wanting these people out of his property?
I well, and he just kind of takes a deep breath and lets it out. I might not be the right person to ask about that. Um, I guess maybe you haven't noticed, but I'm not exactly welcome up in the upper ring. Um, Not like my sister. So I don't really know much about what goes on there. She might she might know.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think she likes me. Either that or
It,
she
it,
super likes me and she's trying to hide it.
I,
You
I
were right on your first
I
instinct.
yeah,
choose to believe the second one because it makes me feel better.
if it makes you feel better, please, by all means, follow the second one. Um, but yeah, she doesn't like many people. She mostly just likes other elves for the most part. I mean, she hardly tolerates me.
That's really unfortunate. Um, I guess first question: do you need help like dealing with these fruits, putting them away or whatever?
Oh, I'll be fine with that, as I likes to help out a lot, and it's always good to have her company. And at that, the halfling just kind of grins and runs back behind the counter, already kind of halfway reaching up to grab the basket and start putting things away.
Fair.
All right. She looks up at Tom. What do you think, Elaine or Lysander? She kind of has like
I
one bounty
feel
in each hand and just kind of like weighing them. Just
I feel like Elaine would be more tolerable to deal with, but I also could be very, very, very wrong.
yeah.
Um,
This I bet Lysander will pay more if we're worried about
oh,
money.
seems so. Let's let's do Lysander first to get more information. That one seems like it's more tedious, but I think also a bath sounds nice too.
So as you guys are speaking, uh, the halfling beneath is just gonna like perk up a little bit and say, "You're gonna go to the upper ring? Do you have a way to get there?"
Do we need a way to get there?
Walk.
Well, I'm not entirely sure they're gonna let you through the check post if you're not elvish.
Do you think they
I
would
mean, the
buy?
bounty should be enough, no?
Do you think that they
Uh,
would Do you think that they would believe that I'm under a magical curse?
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want you there if you're under a magical curse. They'd be afraid that you're contagious.
I wonder that
Do you think I
too.
could convince them that I'm contagious?
I'm
That I
totally sure that would mean that they would want you around them, though, if you are
Yeah,
contagious.
but, like, I wonder what I would need to do to convince them that being a Harangon is contagious. You have given me a terrible idea, Tiff.
I'm good at terrible ideas. To be fair, that my character that's talking to you right now is also good at terrible ideas. So we're in the same boat there. I gotta fight fire with fire sometimes. So,
I have a new goal for our time in the city.
haha.
And anyway, kind of like, as he starts to see the gears turning in Daisy's head, he's like, "Oh no." He knows what's about to happen. Would the bounty be more than enough to make passage through?
Well, I mean, I'm not really much of a bounty hunter myself. It's not something that's really my cup of tea. I usually kind of gamble my way into different places. And the easiest way to get to the upper ring is to go through the middle ring. So if you have a way to get to the middle ring, you could probably earn your passage to get to the upper ring. I'd probably start there first personally, but you could always try just going straight to the upper ring and see what happens. I mean, the dungeons aren't that bad, I hear. Most people don't die.
Well, this okay, so we are going to have to check out those dungeons at some point because I am intrigued. You have sold them to me. But
I guess
beyond
we're
that,
probably going to. So there you go.
I have done nothing wrong in my life ever.
Ever. No. You just totally spiked the guard's teeth first meeting.
it was a dandelion. He's
Not a dandelion.
fine.
Aw.
I think this Elaine person is probably our best bet. And earn your place in our great city, she says with like bombast that is unbefitting.
Gusto. Yep.
I bet that means that it'll give us, passage or whatever. Plus, she's right by the middle ring, so, maybe we can just like sneak by anyway.
Or whatever really works, honestly. I'm not fussed. But a bath. I think a bath would be the most excellent option.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You need a bath. You hear from the other room.
Nobody asked you.
Yeah, but I could smell you.
I wish I didn't have to hear you.
Well, then leave. Bye.
I'm working on it.
Where is she right now?
She's kind of like behind in the kitchen area, so she's kind of back there. You know how a lot of kitchens have that window that you can kind of pass orders through and such.
Sure.
So you kind of see her back there, and she's kind of leaning there. She looks really annoyed just being back there, like it's beneath her in the first place. And if she could pop gum and twirl her hair, she would be. I'm gonna get some fantasy gum that she can start popping.
Oh, there it is.
Fantastic.
Okay. So Daisy takes her magic 8-ball out again, gives it a shake, and like dumps it into her free hand, and out pops this little this little piece of fleece, and she kind of like balls it up and throws it, and it turns into a little like illusory rat. I say little, it's like a foot, like it's a big rat, and makes it like crawl into the kitchen and just waits to see if Amethyst notices and is bothered.
You hear this high-pitched screaming yelp and then a clattering of everything as there's just a tirade of loud cursing in Elvish that you don't understand, but you guess it's probably cursing just due to the power behind it.
Naturally, yes.
Yes, that's what your guess would be.
Fantastic. She just laughs to herself. for an
Understand.
anomalous amount of time. And eventually, like the rat, air quotes, just comes scurrying back out of the kitchen and just dissipates in a little like puff of smoke, and a bit of loose fleece just falls to the ground, and that's the only evidence of the illusion.
Like she's still gone. She's out of there. Like nope,
Yep,
nope,
that's
nope.
that's cool.
Not doing that. Not a thing. Oh,
I enjoy
good
humbling
times.
people. All right, you wanted a bath, so I guess go do your bath, and I'll get some lunch, and then after that we'll go speak to this Elaine person.
So you'll be as you guys are sending back to your rooms. Uh, you don't have a bath in each of your room. It's one of those communal types of things, but there is a bath, like kind of like a little bathhouse type of thing back behind that you're able to actually access pretty easily. I circled your nice little quest for you. Thank
Yes,
you.
you did.
You're welcome. Okay. Yes.
I noticed.
I like being like appreciated for the little things I do. What can I say? Um, but as you make your way back, you can kind of see it's a nice little bathhouse back there. There are clean linens set up. There is a partial divider to give people the option of privacy if they so desire it. But there's also the option to not have, depending on the way that you want to sit. So you're able to get clean. You're able to relax. You are able to just kind of get ready and prepared. I'd say that getting to and from the bounty board and having this little conversation and then having a bath of some sort, you if you want to, you probably have a couple hours left in the day before it starts getting dark. You get the feeling that the later in the day that it becomes, the harder it might be to catch people at their work. You might have to wait until morning comes before you catch them again, or they're going to be busy at their own dinners and everything.
It was a really long bath. We got here at 10 a.m.
Well, you got here at 10 a.m., but you also had to go down to the. You had to get
Oh,
down
that's true.
to
We
the
walked around a
actual
whole
pit.
bunch.
And then you had to walk back. You had to get dirty and stinky from walking around the town. You did a little bit of just general exploring to figure out where you are. You checked out the bounty board.
Yeah, I get you.
It took you a while. You could definitely eat some food in that time as well. I'll make that a thing. And then, Amy's just a whole delight by herself, isn't she?
I'm gonna mess with her so bad.
Yeah.
She deserves it. She needs to be humbled.
She does.
It's
She's
the order
definitely-
of the Fae to be a trickster for good, to
Yep.
humble the arrogant.
Oh, she needs to be humbled so bad. She
I will also
definitely
be
needs to
humbled the first time I wild magic surge, and I can't wait.
I'm
waiting for
terrified.
that.
Fireball roll
Just don't
first
roll a
try.
three.
Let's go.
Please.
It's like, ooh. And so the longing turnip went up in flames. Oh,
Um. All right, cool. So yeah,
well,
Yeah,
we're getting
Daisy
close to the
just-
time where we're going to start like wrapping up. So
Sure.
I'm wanting to know if there are any last couple things that either of you want to do before we get to the close of this session.
No, honestly, this feels like a pretty
Yeah, no,
organic
I'm
place to wrap up.
That's
yeah,
what I was kind of
it's
thinking
good.
too.
It's good.
Okay. So when we meet back up next week, everyone will be clean. You'll have information. You will have been given directions, and you'll be ready to go speak with Elaine. Um, by the time you head out, we'll call it about let's call it 4 p.m. when you head out next week. Does that sound about right? So you got a couple hours before things start winding down in town.
Sure.
Cool.
Sounds good to me.
Fantastic. Well, that being a good organic place to stop, I would like to thank everybody who is watching us today. I'd like to thank everybody who has kind of been watching us, whether in the past, present, or I guess like maybe the past would be hard to watch us in, but who knows? Time travelers, past, present, or future, whoever's watching us, thanks for doing so. Check us out again next week. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Let me shift to the credits now.